We are hiking in Switzerland, following a section of the Via Alpina. And it's one of the most spectacular and beautiful hiking adventures I've had in the last 25 years. The full Via Alpina crosses 8 alpine countries. We're doing a bite-sized version. It is a spectacular spot. Starting in Grindelwald, we're taking 9 days to hike to Montreux. It's not all daring do and difficult backpacking. Quite the opposite. 25 years ago, we walked the length of America on the Pacific Crest Trail. This time, we paid a company to move our bags. We're staying in lovely hotels so we can travel light and enjoy the fabulous walking. We're not even sticking to the official trail. There's a nicer looking route that's quite high. We are loving the Via Alpina, and in this video, you will see why. The first day we climbed below the magnificent Eiger North Face to the hotel where so many attempts began. This is Klein Scheidegg, and most people have come by train. Heidi is a big thing in Japan and China. But this is the popular bit. Hopefully we're going to get further out and away from quite so much of a zoo. It's actually hard to get a picture here without some infrastructure, railway or cable car in shot. But we managed to escape the main route and found a quiet descent to Wengen. Day 2 saw us on a train, then a cable car, then another train, which sounds complicated but couldn't be smoother. This is Switzerland after all. We started our walk in Mürren on the opposite side of the valley. The infrastructure isn't pretty, but it allows hikers to start much higher and gives others spectacular views. It's also a big area for paragliding and companies offering tandem rides. You really can see the appeal. Currently at about 7,500 feet, and that there looks like the pass we're heading for. Could be another 1,000, but I suspect the barometer might be off because of all the weather changes. We'll find out. Climbing 3,200 feet at an altitude nearing 8,000 feet on just our second day was tiring. Kind of stopping every left-hand turn on this because it's high. You can see the fractured rock underfoot. So there are wooden ladders on the last section, and that's a first for me. My, what a view! To be greeted at the pass with a lot of wind and yet more steps. It's actually harder going down because you're facing out. We did not hang about up here. To begin with, the descent is very steep. That gives way to alpine meadow, lush green in September after a very wet summer. The descent to the valley is actually more than the ascent. It's over 4,000 feet, over quite a short distance. This seems like a very different sort of place to the ones we've been in so far. No ski infrastructure. This is the sort of place where I expect to see Heidi. Or maybe llamas. Today is the traditional day that they bring the cows down from the high ground. And to make quite a thing of it, they put all these flowers and grass in their hair. And the poor woman at the hotel we just left, she says, I now have to get lots of coffee and schnapps ready. It's tradition, she said, rolling her eyes. Teresa has got a lot of work to do down there. But the cows, I don't know whether they look embarrassed or whether they're enjoying it.
Wake up, and you know you're gonna be forever young in your heart. Stand up, 'cause only you can choose the colors of your life. lift your body off the ground. 'Cause flying is easy when you don't get right. So live your life, don't think twice. Leave your worries, forget the past. Live your life, don't think twice. Just remember you're in paradise.
I'm a bit puffed. I went a bit fast on that last bit. But wow, what a view. This is where we say goodbye to the Eiger, the monk, the Jungfrau. That sort of massif. We move into a completely different area. Whew. The Huli, something like that pass. Yeah, I still can't say it properly, but it is the highest point on the Via Alpina. We're heading a little higher to the Blumensalp hut. I imagine a drink's going to cost quite a bit up here, given how high they have to bring it. About £5.50 for a hot chocolate, more to fill a water bottle, a little less for coffee and tea. I have spent way longer than I intended there. It is just because everywhere you look, there is a Kodak moment. It is a spectacular, spectacular spot. And it makes my heart sing. We know that with climate change, Switzerland is losing its glaciers, and I kind of wonder whether they have retreated, and whether previously that cliff was the point of the old Bergschrunden where the glacier poured over. This is one of Switzerland's picture-perfect mountain lakes, the Ochensee. And we had intended to go down that way, according to the route we've got. But there's a nicer looking route that's quite high. So we're going to take that because we also have a cunning plan. This is almost sensation overload. We've got the scent of the pines now that we've reached the tree line. There's the sun, there's that tired ache having done a good day's walking. The way this path clings to the hillside is spectacular. Oh yes, I was going to tell you about that cunning plan, wasn't I? This is it. We could walk down, but the gondola cuts something like 1,500 feet of descent, and I think we'll need all of those feet in our knees for tomorrow. Plus, it's a great way to travel. Heavy rain overnight meant a damp start from Kandersteg. When you're doing the thing where you have your bags moved for you, you pretty obviously have to stay where a vehicle can reach each night, which usually means down in a valley. And that is what contributes to the ascent and descent of every walk. It also means every day starts pretty much the same, climbing up through trees, and it's going to be meadows and presumably rock and then broken rock. So I'm quite grateful to all this mist today. It's giving a slightly different flavour. Oh, beers, cokes, want some crisps or anything? Probably already said this, but the Bundesschrund is the last of the big passes on the Via Alpina, and relatively easy, certainly compared to yesterday. And it's great getting up through the mist and then having all this to gaze at, just for the final section. think this is it. I'm going to suspect that this pass is much less visited than some of the others. Certainly there's no ladders or anything at the top, and the ground here is so loose. It's very unconsolidated. Careful with every step. It's the last time we'll be close to 8,000 feet, and only one more steep descent before our planned rest day in the town of Adelboden. When we were planning this, I thought a day off somewhere would be a useful thing, and it seemed natural to make it Adelboden because we had 4 hard days at the start going over the big passes on this Via Alpina. No idea who. And 4, well, easier passes, but not easy days. In fact, tomorrow might be quite easy. But anyway, having a day off seemed to be a great thing. Staying at that hotel, I know you got a free pass to all the gondolas in the area. So we've come up on a neighbouring hill, and there is a swing here that Liz wanted to get a picture taken on. I'm not going to say much about our day off because we're not going to do very much. And tomorrow, we could actually shorten it. There's a bus possibility, there's a cable car possibility, but you know what? We're here to walk. So I suspect we'll be walking. We could have got everything in one, but they've booked us 2 bags, so we have a second little light luggage. We've got spare food and shoes in there. I really do not miss carrying a large pack. I seem to be developing a love-hate relationship with ski infrastructure. Great when it suits me, not so great when it doesn't. Tens of snowblowers built into the landscape, people whizzing down on scooter things that they've taken on the uplift, and traffic. Yeah, this is probably the worst day so far. Rather pleased when this one's over. And there were so many cars and people at the Hannenmoos Pass, I largely forgot to film, and we just hurried down. One of the highlights of today, this is the Walbach Gorge, and it was shut in 2017 after a load of, I think it was rockfall came down here, and they've rebuilt it all with these steps. And it's getting very hot. Fabulous spot, this Trutlitzberg, I think, pass. But we've got a decision to make. The route that is suggested by the company that's moving our bags is that way. We go down to a village called Launanen and then get a bus to Gstaad. However, the Via Alpina itself is signposted in a different direction. And I know it's a longer walk. It makes today's rather than 10 miles into 15 miles. But we're considering doing it because we still feel quite fresh. It does feel a bit rebellious having left the track we were on. Oop, bikes. These e-bikes have made a world of difference. We have seen loads of e-bikes here, and people are definitely still working. But you know, there's going to be a generation who don't have the idea of the effort, the pure effort that comes with getting up here without a motor assist. I don't know. I mean, they're great. E-bikes are great in all sorts of ways, but they do have a few issues. Right, what do we think of this? You probably guessed we're going to walk all the way to Gstaad, which is not my favourite town on the route. It's not our sort of place at all. We can't afford dinner here, but fortunately there's also a co-op supermarket, so we could put together a picnic and buy food for tomorrow before we go to bed inside a cuckoo clock. I said we're light sleepers, but my goodness. Okay, we cheated. Somehow we managed to blag our way onto this gondola, and it cuts a whole load of what's called a really steep climb off. And you know what, after the longer day yesterday, it just didn't feel like the long climb, especially we want to be up there before the heat really starts. And once we're up, it's quite a good high level walk. But this is meant to be open for an event. A gentleman who should remain nameless kindly let us on. We are almost at the Col de Jabele, and it's our first mountain wall. I wonder if that's signifying the boundary, because we're leaving Bern, the German-speaking canton, and moving into one of the French-speaking cantons, Vaud. This is really nice walking. Since the col back there, we have been descending, but it's not been like on other days where we've kind of plummeted off. This has been like a high-level walk, and it's the first we've done. And actually, I suppose that's the thing this part of the Via Alpina misses. High-level ridge walking. I mean, you can't have everything, but a bit of that would have been nice. And I'm enjoying what little we're getting. Soon we're in the valley and on the bus down to our hotel. Our last day, and it feels like we are racing the weather because some very heavy rain is coming in. So an early start for us, bus back to where we quit the trail, and we're heading down towards a big lake. That's quite a feat of engineering when you think it is over 100 years old, and it's built to provide drinking water for the surrounding area, presumably including Montreux. But we are now back on the Via Alpina for a while, so we've got to get over that col there. You know how we say the cows sit down when they know it's going to rain? Maybe here they just know to come down. Looks quite busy here, really, for the last col. The Col de Chaude has a great view down to Lake Geneva, more formally known as Lac Le Mans. But it's not the end of our climbing, much to my surprise. I'll be honest, I hadn't really studied my contours very well. I hadn't realised there was quite so much uphill after that pass. This is the closest thing to a high-level ridge walk we've had, and we're rushing it a little bit to catch the cog train. And to beat the worst of the rain, it has just started, or it might be that we're in cloud. It's the first kind of drops, full-on raindrops that we felt, so we can't complain. Okay. You know, I think the train driver waited until he saw us. There's one train an hour, and the nice passengers were waving to us. Thank you. It's a busy bank holiday weekend, so we made the most of our extra hour and made sure we were on the very next train down. But the journey didn't end there. We'd booked a better hotel just outside of Montreux for the last night. Max did say they were getting us a nice room, and they might have upgraded us, but holy crap, look at this. We've got a desk. Look at me, do I belong in a place like this? And a whirlpool bath, which is called a jacuzzi, and a shower that's bigger than our bathroom. I would say we have done pretty well. This is the first time I've done anything like a long-form hiking video, so I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have got this far, give me the thumbs up, please. And if you could watch this one next, well, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.